Whatever you do, don't ruffle this duck's feathers. Here's a look at the Beast Kingdom Dynamic Action Heroes, Disney's Donald Duck. A staple in Disney's famous lineup, Donald Duck has been in some of the most cherished stories in television, print, and cinematic history. Beast Kingdom is proud to introduce the DAH-042 classic Donald Duck action figure from the Dynamic Action Heroes line. Get ready for a highly articulated figure with detailed design and real fabric costume. Accurate design and paintwork showcase Donald's snow-white body and orange beak, and he includes a replaceable head, eyes, and hands, allowing for the ultimate in customization. While somebody is coping with anger problems, we're going to go ahead and grab the tape measure and just see how tall the new Dynamic Action Heroes Donald Duck stands. And while I'm doing this as well, I'd like to thank the folks over at Beast Kingdom that did provide the sample that we're about to have a look at in this video. Donald Duck, FYI, is available right now online, and he sits a little over $70. Not bad considering for the amount of things that come included with this figure. Donald Duck, though, stands about 6 inches in height, so he's not quite the normal 8 inches you come to expect now from the Dynamic Heroes line, and that translates to a figure that's about 15.5 centimeters tall. Sticking with samesies, Donald Duck comes included with the same display stand that we're used to seeing now by Beast Kingdom. It is the same shape display stand, although in this case it's actually using a translucent blue plastic. On the top you see there's Disney Donald Duck, and just in case you forgot his name already, it's printed here along the front as well, sort of serving as a front placard. Unfortunately, though, when you're looking at the display stand, yes, they have used the same neck as they always use with their other releases. The problem with it, though, is where they've put the height of the stand. In order to actually get Donald Duck to stand on the display stand, you're literally strangling the poor duck. Now I can see why he gets so angry. I do wish in a case like this they could have actually shrunk the size of the post, because I think ideally it would have fit perfectly right around this section of his waist and would have not looked as uncomfortable for the poor mallard to have his neck being strangled by this waist clip that's going around his neck. I guess in some ways, you really don't even need the waist clip either. Donald Duck in a pose of just having him standing straight like this seems to really stand fine. You don't even really need to have the post or the waist clip on the back of his body. As long as you really have the display stand, you don't even really need the stand either. The figure also comes included with an instruction sheet. And by saying sheet, it's not really even on double sides either. It's the same instructions on both the sides, although one side is English and then the other side is not English. It does tell you, though, how to swap out the hands, does show you how to swap out the heads. It does also show you one of the coolest features about the figure. The fact that he does have not only swappable faces, but interchangeable eyes that go along with that as well. As you can probably see, though, Donald Duck does come included with quite a lot of things. Not really accessories necessarily that he's going to be holding in his hand, no, but he has more interchangeable functionalities, that he does have 2 swappable faceplates. As it goes right now, he's certainly in the more neutral, happier Donald. I'm sure it's not going to last very long. And in this condition, actually, the figure comes included with, of course, his sailor's hat. The sailor's hat is made of harder plastic. There's a magnet actually on the underside of it. It's colored very nicely here in a blue, with a little tag here on the back painted in black. This, in its current state, does fit right onto Donald's head. And as you can feel it, you'll have to only just take my advice for this, as you're putting this closer to his head, you can already feel the magnets pulling themselves together, and this attaches onto his head. I'm not sure whereabouts I would want to have it. I think in most of the cases he sort of has it off slightly to the side, but the magnet will certainly guide you, and as you're getting closer to Donald's head, it literally just attaches onto his head. It's not secure to the point where the hat isn't going to swivel around for you. In fact, when you are rotating the figure's head back and forth, this hat ultimately will also start swinging around for you as well. So it's probably best advice to actually take the head and move it first, and then put the hat on top of it, that way ensuring the hat's not going to start to spin around on you. The hat, though, being plastic, the suit, though, on the other hand, is actually made of fabric. The fabric is nicely colored. It's very similar in a blue, although it seems to be a little bit lighter here. You got the nice panel striping here of yellow on the ends of his sleeve, not to mention, again, the striping of the yellow there along the collar piece as well. It has, of course, a very bright red bow tie. And then underneath this, though this isn't the part you're going to be wanting to see here on Donald, you can actually flip this up and you get a fully articulated figure. Of course, we're going to get more into that in a moment. But this is a happier looking Donald. Life's not getting him down just yet, but I'm sure that likely is again going to change really quickly. The coloring of the eyes is really nice. I like the more off blue color that they use for the eyes. In this case, actually, you've got the eyes looking straight forward, but again, that can change. The bright coloring of the orange beak does work quite well. You got the nice white coloring of the overall body of the figure. White hands, of course, you got the larger white body of the tail as well. They're on the back of the body. And of course, as Donald would be the case of a duck, he does have, of course, the webbed feet on the bottom, brightly colored here as well in that orange. Overall, it's just a nice looking Donald Duck. If this is the look that you prefer to have, though, like I say, he does have various different swappable faceplates. He has 2 faceplates technically, but then he also has a whole bunch of swappable eyes as well. I guess before we kind of get down to looking at all that, the figure also comes includes some swappable hands. The hands right now look as if they're going to be holding something, and yet unfortunately no accessories come with the figure at all. Though if you prefer to have relaxed hands, then the figure comes include those as well. If you prefer those something that looks more like wings, or something that he's trying to flap himself, or even just frantically waving his arms about, then he has more relaxed or flatter hands. To change out the hands are pretty easy, in fact. Let's go ahead and just remove the hat for right now. Just go ahead and hold on to the form, whatever you do. Don't let go. And just pop this off. The hands themselves are pretty easy to remove, although the pegs that they used are a lot thicker than I was expecting. Then go ahead and take the hand that you want to use. We're going to go ahead and use the relaxed hand for right now. I'm just going to pop it back onto the post. If you're having any problems, by the way, doing this, you can always use the trick of heating the hands in hot water. Might make things a little bit more easier to attach the hands in the sockets. But anyways, that's what Donald looks like. What a fine looking mallard this guy is. He looks very much cartoon accurate, but again, like there's different expressions. Between this one and then there's the angrier expression, you can decide for yourself which way you'd like to go. If, though, you want to stick with this head sculpt, we're going to go ahead, first of all, just pop the head off the ball joint. Again, fairly easy to remove. And we're just going to leave the decapitated duck down for 1 second. This is what Donald Duck's head looks like. And actually, what I should have really done was I should have removed this too. You really don't even necessarily need to remove the head either. In fact, the one other thing the figure comes included with kind of perplexes me a little bit. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right over here at the back of him. The figure technically comes with 2 halves of the back of his body. Now, I'm going to remove this faceplate for right now. We're going to come back to that in a second. Ideally, this should have really come off just by the entire ball joint and left behind the neck. But if, again, for the purpose of this, to show you, he comes with 1 extra one of these, and I can't figure out why. If you look at them, they look to be identical. The backs look to be the same. There's nothing really to indicate that this one is different in any way, serving any other function than what we already get with this head sculpt here. And in both the cases, whether you use the angrier expression or the happier expression, they attach to this head, the back of the head, the exact same way. I don't understand why this needed to be included. If anything, I would have said use this plastic for something else, like an accessory of some sort. Anyways, he comes included with that, but just to show you, though, I'm going to pop this back onto the neck. Again, I didn't really even have to remove it, but it was just more to show you. We just plug it back into place. And then if you wanted to swap out Donald's eyes, go ahead and just go back to the happier face for right now. On the back, you'll have this little piece right here. Now, these detach, and then you can replace them out with the various different eyes that he comes included with. Now, he comes with 2 sets of different types of eyes. He comes with these eyes, and then he comes with these eyes here. You'll already notice that this one has a bigger piece of plastic. These are the ones for the happier expression. The ones that have the cut-in section like this actually will go with the angrier expression. You'll see what I mean in a second. But to change out the eyes, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the face once again. And this just pulls from the back. If you're having a problem doing this, I find it actually helps just to put a little bit of pressure on the inside of the eyes, like that, just to pop them through. This removes, and it kind of looks like the bottom of a popsicle if you're about to make your own homemade popsicles at home. Does anybody even do that anymore? Anyways, this just undetaches, just removes from the back. And we're going to go ahead and grab eyes. So again, like the difference of the eyes is that you have the eyes that look straight forward. You have eyes looking to the side. You have eyes then looking to the other side. And then you also have eyes that are sort of looking down. Or I guess looking up, because it would be flipped around. Yeah, it would be flipped around the other way. Let's just say, for the sake of this, we're actually going to have the eyes looking this way. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop this back in. And again, when you're putting this in, you want to make sure that this part right here is the part that attaches to the bottom of the bill. Just go ahead and again feed this through. And if you're having any tough time to do this, I find, again, you just take this and just sort of push a little bit of pressure on the back of it until you finally get those eyes all the way through. It's not the easiest to do in some of the eyes cases, but go ahead and just, oh, there we go, push it all the way through. And that's what Donald Duck looks like now with his eyes facing this way. And then from there, that little lip of plastic that looked like the bottom of a popsicle will then in fact actually slot into this area right here, just above the ball socket. And then when you line everything up, snap the two halves together and you got yourself a hole. And now you got Donald Duck looking this way. Really simple and easy to do. And again, I like the idea that they gave you as many options as they made available. I still don't understand, though, why they included this extra part. As you'll see in a second, when we get the angry expression, you can use the same back half of the head. You don't need this one at all. Going to put that to the side. If you did, though, want to get the angry expression for Donald Duck, one that I kind of lean more towards, this is what it looks like right here. Clearly, Donald is a little bit more ticked off. As you see, he has the open mouth, more of these sunken down eyebrows. There's no fooling the fact that Donald is pretty ticked off by something, but this attaches the exact same way. I guess, first of all, it probably would be helpful to grab some eyes. Now, again, with the eyes, in this case, we're going to be looking at the ones that are half. So to compare it again with the ones that we looked at before, see, this one has the extra little bit of plastic down below. We want to have the one that's got the little bit of indentation, the one that's got the bottom half cut off. So we've got these eyes that are looking straight up, got these eyes that are looking to the side, got these eyes that are kind of looking more forward. I guess these would be looking more higher up. And then we've also got eyes that are looking the opposite direction. Let's just say for this, we're going to go ahead with these eyes. And again, we're going to go ahead and take this head. We're going to flip it around to the back. We're going to then take this piece and we're going to plunge it into the back of the figure's head. And again, when you're putting it in, you want this part of the triangle piece to actually be at the bottom of it, not at the top. When that's all the way in, this is what Donald Duck then looks like. We'll just make sure the eyes are all the way in. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the head that we already had here before. Just detach it. Put that to the side. Grab then the angry expression. And just, again, take that little bit of lipped plastic, line it up and fit it into the open groove, and then plug it into place. And again, you see what I mean? We didn't need to swap this out at all. They just seem to throw in an extra piece, I guess, just in case something happens to it. But now we've got an angry expression Donald. And then to complete the look of that, then we can go ahead and take his hat and attach it onto the top. Now this one is going to be spinning. As you can see, we can have it maybe a little bit higher up, but the magnet really does dictate having this further back on the figure's head. And again, because of that, it does cause the hat to spin around a lot. There's really no way to work around that, just simply because it's attached by a magnet. You sort of have to go with the way that the magnet is moving it. Nice looking figure though, and again, for me, I would much rather have Donald being frantically angry than a happier looking Donald myself. For the articulation here on the figure, let's just slide everything out of the way for the accessories. I'm going to actually take this off also for right now. The head is going to be on a ball joint, as we already looked at before. The head does look down, it does look up, and you can technically rotate the head all the way around. It does also rock back and forth too as well. So there's also, first of all, there's a joint right there. So there's a ball peg right there. And then at the base of the neck, as we saw, we removed the head. There's a ball joint right in there also as well. So you're actually getting the functions of two ball joints working behind the scenes. The arms do hinge out easily at 90 degrees. You can take those arms and move them forward. You can, of course, move them back. There's a hinge in the elbow. And you can also, of course, rotate the bicep also as well and rotate the forearm. Hands rotate also all the way around, back and forth hinge there too. Now, just to lift this up, I don't want to embarrass you, Donald, but just going to move that up just for a little bit. You can rock the body up and down because there's a ball joint. You can also rock it back and forth as well, and you can rotate it this way also. Just get that back down a little bit. For the legs, they're on ball joints too, so you can move them forward. You can move the legs forward. You can move the legs back. You can move the legs out. And in addition to that, the feet also do have ball joints too. So you can rock them back and forth, up and down, and you can, well, somewhat rotate them all the way around as well. Just a great looking figure. Always loved Donald Duck, even though I had a hard time really understanding what he was even saying most of the time in the cartoons. I think Beast Kingdom has done a true service to such an angrier looking duck like this. Let's go ahead and finish off the look by adding the hat on top of his head. Again, the only thing I would say with a figure like this, with all the swappable options available, is that the hat does spin a little bit too much, but there's no other way around it. The only other option that they could have probably had is maybe made the, let's just pick the figure up here for a second. They probably could have also had the part of the back of the head kind of cut in. I mean, obviously you would have less of a seamless line here, but if they just cut this in, they could have actually just had the hat permanently attached and then just removed the faceplate that would have been around it. But obviously then you would have saw an outline right around here. So magnets, yes, would have been the best way to go around this. And again, with the expressions available with Donald Duck, you can again go with the more easier happy-go-lucky Donald Duck, or you can go again with the angrier Donald Duck. This guy behind the camera prefers the angrier Donald Duck. With Donald having 2 swappable faceplates, and then on top of that, 4 interchangeable eyes that can be swapped out of those faceplates. Even though his expression is only going to be one or the other, you can at least change the direction that the character is looking. Now, when it came to swapping out the faceplates, first of all, was pretty easy. The eyes were actually the harder of the things to pull out because you have to take that plunger piece, remove it from the inside cavity of his face to then change out the eyes. I still don't understand, though, why Beast Kingdom included a back extra headpiece when really in this review, I used the same piece for both faces. Maybe they just threw it in there in case you happen to break the one, because I looked at them back and forth. I tried to examine, see if there was a difference between the two, and I honestly didn't find anything. I think if anything, they probably could have used the plastic that would have gone towards that back headpiece. Instead, rather include some accessories that could go along with Donald. Considering this guy freaks out all the time in Disney episodes, maybe they could have included or used that plastic towards a framed picture of Daisy, some box of chocolates, some flowers, something along those lines. But again, like ultimately, I'm just going to have this extra back headpiece that's going to go back in the box with all the other accessories or the extra swapped out hands and the eyes that I'm not currently using. For me, at least, when it comes to displaying Donald Duck, I lean more towards angrier Donald. Sorry, Donald, that you always have to be angrier on my shelf, but I prefer this look of the character, but I like the idea that they gave us 2 options available. Like I said, this guy is available right now through various online sites if you guys are interested to pick up Donald Duck for yourself. Again, this guy sits at around $70, which again, it's not bad at all considering for how much this guy comes included with. The display stand, yes, is something that gets carried over from the other Dynamic Action Hero line, and even though Donald is smaller in stature, I think also they probably should have shrunk the size of the post neck, because the neck gets, well, the waist clip ends up being a neck piece. It clamps around Donald's neck. That's got to be uncomfortable. I think if anything, they probably should have shrunk the post down by half the size, so it clipped comfortably more around Donald's waist, not around his neck. But again, if you guys are interested, this guy is currently available. Once again, a big thank you to the folks over at Beast Kingdom that did provide a stellar looking Donald Duck that we can have a look at in this review. Maybe as well, I can throw out a video question for you guys. What's your favorite animated duck? Is it Donald? Is it Daffy? When I was younger, I always liked Daffy a little bit more, but as I got a little bit more older and a little more grizzled in life, I seem to relate a lot more with Donald Duck. But who's your favorite animated duck? It might not even be Donald or Daffy. There might be another animated duck also as well that you can think of. Let me know down below in the comments section. Also as well, if you guys enjoyed this video, why not hit with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and certainly on board for more, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and that you're also turning on the bell notification. Because while we have wrapped up things right now for Donald Duck, there will be more Beast Kingdom reviews coming your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.